This video is about she loved him but his mate bond was with another woman. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The forest breathed around Alara, the sound of rustling leaves and the whispering wind threading through the ancient trees. Each footfall felt heavy, burdened by unspoken thoughts as she wandered deeper into the heart of Moonshadow Grove. The air was thick with the scent of pine and magic, a reminder of the wolf pack that roamed beneath the glow of the silver moon. The night was a night of transformation, but her heart was frozen in place. "Why do you keep coming here?" The voice broke through the stillness, causing her to halt. It was Calder, the pack's enigmatic beta, his deep brown eyes reflecting the moonlight. She could feel the energy hum between them, electric yet haunting. "I came to find him," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Calder stepped closer, the tension palpable. "You know it is pointless, don't you? He is not yours to claim." Alara felt her heart clench. "It doesn't matter what the bond says, Calder. I can just ignore what I feel." "You have to." His frustration was evident. "Yuri and Omega, Alara, it is dangerous to tread on the bond between Alaric and Selene. She is his mate, and you need to respect that." The name hung in the air like a curse. Selene. Beautiful, poised, the embodiment of grace and strength. Alara's heart ached at the thought. But what if this bond isn't what it seems? What if Alaric and I are meant to be? Calder sighed, his gaze softening. "You read chasing shadows. This bond is woven by fate, Alara. It is not something you can break or manipulate." With a sudden spark of defiance, Alara turned, ready to walk away. "I can accept that, not when my heart tells me otherwise." "Your heart doesn't know the dangers," he called after her, frustration lacing his tone. "Alara, please, you're risking everything." The moon cast an ethereal glow on her path, illuminating her way through the thicket as she pushed forward. The howl of a distant wolf echoed through the night, a haunting reminder of what she could never own. Alaric was the alpha, destined to rule the pack, and she was merely the omega left with ashes of unfulfilled dreams. As she stepped into a clearing, the moonlight kissed her skin, and for a moment she felt invincible. But the moment shattered when she saw them, Alaric and Selene entwined in intimate conversation, laughter spilling like music between them. The sight pierced her heart, a visceral blade that twisted with every breath. "Aw." Alaric's voice broke through her pain, a deep rumble that sent shivers down her spine. He turned, his expression shifting from surprise to concern. "What are you doing here?" "I..." The words caught in her throat. She couldn't bear to confess her desire, her longing for him. Instead, she forced a smile. "We're just taking a walk." Selene stepped forward, her eyes sharp and assessing. "You shouldn't wander alone, Alara. The woods can be treacherous. Especially tonight." Alaric added, his brow furrowed. The weight of their bond pressed down on her like a storm cloud. "I can take care of myself," she replied, injecting a false bravado into her voice. "Alaric, maybe we should go," Selene suggested, her hand subtly resting on his arm. "It is getting late." Alara felt a pang of hurt that she couldn't hide. "Yes, you should go. Don't let me keep you." Alaric hesitated, his gaze lingering on her, his wolf instincts battling against the mate bond. "Alara, wait." "Ugh." She snapped, her emotions spilling forth. "I want to be the reason you read torn between what you want and what you are destined for." Selene's eyes narrowed, and Alara could see the subtle shift in her posture. The alpha female was no stranger to rivalry, and Alara's defiance only fueled her possessiveness. "The don't pretend to be noble, Alara," Selene snapped. "You know he is mine. You can just waltz and disrupt what we've built." "Built?" Alara scoffed, her heart pounding with anger. "You mean the illusions of your perfect bond. What you have is nothing compared to the love that could exist." Selene stepped closer, her voice a deadly whisper. "You're playing a dangerous game, Omega. You'll lose everything if you continue this path." Alaric's expression was conflicted, and Alara's heart ached for the lost connection. "Selene, this isn't right. Alara deserves..." "Deserves what?" Selene interrupted, fierce and unyielding. "A life of longing, a life of rejection. You've chosen me, Alaric. Be loyal to your choice." Alara felt tears prick her eyes, but she wouldn't allow them to fall. "I am not asking for anything but honesty. If you don't feel it, then I'll walk away." "I don't," Alaric murmured, his voice leaden with regret. "I can lose you both." Selene's gaze shot to him sharply. "You don't get to choose, Alaric. You're bound to me." "Bad?" Alara echoed, anger and pain mingling in her chest. "You think a bond will keep you together. Love isn't a chain, Selene." "Enough." Alaric roared, his alpha voice commanding attention. This isn't how I wanted this to unfold. I never wanted to hurt either of you. Alara's breath hitched, her heart breaking further as she stepped back into the shadows. Then set me free, Alaric. If you truly love her, then let me go. Don't say that, he pleaded, stepping towards her. But the wall between them, built by fate and choice, felt insurmountable. You've made your choice, Alaric. You can tee out both. With that, she turned, retreating into the embrace of the night, the weight of the forest consuming her. The moon, once a beacon of hope, now felt like a witness to her despair. The shadows danced around her, mocking her pain, whispering the truth she tried to deny. Alara stumbled through the grove, the ache in her heart overshadowing the glow of the moonlight. She could feel the pull of her instincts, but the jagged edges of reality cut deeper. Love, it seemed, wouldn't protect her from the cruelty of destiny. In the distance, a wolf howled, echoing her sorrow. She was an omega caught in a web of fate, longing for a love that wasn't meant to be. And as she looked up at the moon, she realized that sometimes love meant letting go. The night deepened, wrapping Moon Shadow Grove in a shroud of silver mist. Alara stumbled through the underbrush, guided by instinct but lost in despair. The moonlight felt cold against her skin, contrasting the warmth of her memories with Alaric. She could still hear his voice, a low rumble that resonated deep within her, echoing her fears and hopes. Alara, wait but the moment she fled, it all faded like a mirage, leaving her aching for a connection that seemed endless yet utterly unreachable. As she crossed into a clearing, the familiar scent of damp earth and wildflowers filled her lungs. A sudden rustle behind her made her spin. It was Calder, his silhouette emerging from the shadows, his brow furrowed with concern. Alara, you shouldn't be out here alone, he said, his voice steady but filled with urgency. The woods are not safe tonight. Safe? She spat, bitterness lacing her tone. Is any of this safe? The bond Alaric has with Selene traps him, and I am left to drown in my own heartache. Calder stepped closer, his expression softening. You are not alone, Alara. You have me. You always have. Her heart skipped, and for a fleeting moment she yearned to let him in, to lean on his strength. But you are not him, she whispered, pain etched in every syllable. I may not be him, but I care for you, he replied, a hint of desperation coloring his words. You need someone who can protect you, who would never let you feel this way. Protect me from what? From my own feelings, from the truth? She shook her head, tears threatening to spill. I don't need protection from love, Calder. I need love itself. Calder's gaze hardened, a storm brewing behind those deep brown eyes. Alara, your instincts are fighting against what fate has decreed. You can force a bond that isn't there. Why not, if there is a chance? There is no chance, he interrupted, his voice rising in frustration. Selene is Alaric's mate, you know the stakes, you can disrupt the balance. Balance, she echoed, fire igniting within her. What balance do you speak of with a desperate on rejection, a bond that chains him to a woman he might not truly love? A doubt can be a dangerous thing, Calder warned, his tone more restrained now. It can twist your heart, lead you down dark paths. Alara stepped back, the pain of her reality clawing at her insides. I am already on a dark path, Calder. I can pretend Alaric doesn't fill my dreams, doesn't consume my thoughts. Then you need to stop dreaming, he said softly. You were only going to hurt yourself. I am already hurting. I can let go of this feeling of us. She gestured between them, a raw plea for understanding. You say I should move on, but how can I? I don't want to hurt him or you. Calder reached for her, but she flinched away. You are not listening, he said, his voice steady despite the tension. You are putting yourself in danger. Selene won't hesitate to protect what she believes is hers. And what about what I believe? Alara felt the anger and pain bubble within her, threatening to spill over. What if Alaric and I are meant to be together? Doesn't that matter? A destiny isn't always kind, Calder said, his eyes softening with understanding. Sometimes it challenges us in ways we don't want, but you need to be strong, Alara. Strong? She laughed bitterly. You want me to be strong while I watch the man I love be bound to someone else? No, Calder. Alara, he said, his voice dropping to a husky whisper, if you keep pursuing this, you may lose more than you think. Love can be a double-edged sword. And I do rather bleed out than live a lie, she retorted, her heart racing with the weight of her truth. Calder fell silent, a contemplative expression crossing his features. I can watch you suffer like this. If you really feel this way, perhaps it is time to confront Alaric again, lay your heart bare before him. The thought sent a shiver down her spine. What if I do, and he chooses her again? Then you will know, he replied earnestly. You will know where you stand, and you can begin to heal. Or I'll shatter, she murmured, her voice breaking. Calder stepped closer again, the warmth of his presence grounding her. I'll be here. I promise you won't face this alone. She met his gaze, searching for truth in his words. I don't want to hurt you, Calder. His lips curled into a small, sad smile. Then let me be the one to help you through this. I may not be Alaric, but I can offer you something real, something you can trust. Something real, she echoed, the words drumming in her mind. But is it truly what I want? Is what you want worth the risk of losing everything? Calder asked, his voice low and earnest. The weight of his question hung in the air as she wrestled with her thoughts. Would facing Alaric lead to salvation or devastation? I need to think, she finally whispered, stepping away from him. Take your time, he assured her, backing off to give her space. But remember, whatever you decide, you're not alone. As she turned to leave, doubt and longing wrapped around her like a cloak. The pull of the forest called to her once more, her heart torn between the man who held her dreams and the one offering her refuge. Asterisk. The days that followed were a tumultuous tide of emotions. Alara found it nearly impossible to concentrate on anything but Alaric. The bond between him and Selene weighed on her like a leaden anchor. Each night she could hear the distant howls of the pack, a haunting melody that reverberated through her soul. She had to confront the truth, had to see Alaric once more. Under the luminous glow of the moon, she made her way back to the clearing, uncertainty gnawing at her like a ravenous wolf. As she stepped into the familiar grove, the world around her felt charged with electricity, anticipation thrumming through her veins. Suddenly she saw him. Alaric stood there, framed by the ethereal moonlight, looking lost and pensive. The sight of him sent a rush of emotions surging through her love, longing, despair. Ilara, he called, his voice breaking the stillness. Alaric, she breathed, her heart racing wildly. He stepped forward, his brow furrowing in concern. You shouldn't be here, it's dangerous. More dangerous than what is beating in my chest, she shot back, her voice catching. I can't hide any longer, I need to speak to you. Speak then. His tone was steady, but his eyes revealed a storm of emotions. I can't promise it will change anything. Maybe not, but I need to know, she whispered, stepping closer. I can't live in the shadows of your bond any longer. Alaric's expression wavered, the weight of the moon illuminating the pain in his gaze. Alara, you and I. Don't say we can't, she interrupted, all restraint crumbling. I feel it, Alaric, I've felt it since the moment I laid eyes on you. I can't ignore it anymore. What about Selene? He asked, his voice laced with frustration. You know how this works, she is my mate. What if I told you that being Bandos and mean love? What if I told you that I am willing to fight for you? Fight? You don't understand. His voice was strained, the reality of his situation pulling him in two directions. I don't want to hurt you. Then don't show me that what we have is real, Alaric, you can let this bond dictate your heart. He stepped closer, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. Alara, I. Choose, she urged, the desperation spilling into her fervent plea. Choose between what you predestined for and what your heart truly desires. Alaric hesitated, the conflict raging within him palpable. I don't know if I can break that bond, Alara. I don't know if I should. Then you'll never truly know, will you? She implored, tears threatening to spill. He reached out, brushing her cheek with a gentle touch, sending shivers through her. I don't want either of you to suffer. I care for you both. That is not enough, she cried, heart racing. I need to know if you love me, please, Alaric. Just say it. The silence between them expanded, heavy with unspoken words and the weight of choices. The moon hung high above, a silent observer of their tangled fates. As the moonlight bathed them both in ethereal silver, time seemed to stand still. Alara's heart pounded like a wild drum against her ribs, urging her to break through the suffocating silence. Alaric's gaze flickered across her face, uncertainty clouding the depths of his emerald eyes. Alaric, she pressed softly, her voice a tender plea. You don't have to choose between us if you don't want to. Just be honest. Tell me what you feel. His hand wavered, hovering near her face as if he were both desperate to touch her and terrified of the consequences. This bond, it is not just a chain, Alara, it is a lifeline that connects me to Selene, to the pack, to everything I've ever known. Breaking it could unravel so much. And what if that so much is built on a lie? She interjected, her voice rising with a mix of passion and pain. What if your heart beats for someone else? What if your soul recognizes me as your true mate? He recalled slightly, the weight of her words crashing into him like a tidal wave. You can asked me to turn my back on my duty, on everything I've fought for. Selene is my mate, and I can just disregard that. Duty? She echoed, bitterness coating her tone. What about love? What about the truth that has been simmering beneath the surface between us since the very beginning? The tension crackled in the air, and for a moment, the world around them fell away. Alara held her breath, waiting for him to step forward, to close the distance that felt both intoxicating and agonizing. But Alaric hesitated, his inner turmoil a tempest that threatened to drown them both. Why now? He finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Why do you come to me now, when I am bound to her? Because I can't hide my feelings anymore, she admitted, her voice trembling. Each day feels like a lifetime of heartache. I thought I could accept your bond, but I can't. It is tearing me apart. His brow furrowed, guilt flashing across his features. I never wanted to hurt you, Alara. I didn't choose this bond. It was thrust upon me by fate. Fate? She scoffed, her heart aching at his words. Fate is a cruel mistress, Alaric. It doesn't consider our feelings, our desires. It shackles us to paths we never wanted to tread. Silence enveloped them again, the weight of their unspoken feelings thickening the air. Alara could feel her heart fracturing with every passing moment, desperate for him to choose her, desperate for him to see that they could fight together against a bond that was merely a construct of destiny. What if I told you that I am willing to fight for you? She whispered, stepping closer, closing the gap. What if I told you that love can defy the strongest of bonds? Alaric's eyes darkened, a storm brewing within them. You don't understand what you were asking. Selene, she is strong. She'll never let me go without a fight. Then let us fight together. Don't let her dictate your heart. Show me that what we have is more than just a fleeting moment, she urged, her voice thick with emotion. You deserve to be happy, Alaric. We both do. The air shifted, tension morphing into something deeper, more primal. As Alara's words hung between them, a wolf within Alaric stood, caught between the call of loyalty and the intoxicating pull of genuine love. He stepped forward, their faces inches apart, the spark of connection igniting a fire that neither could ignore. I can promise anything, he finally said, the raw vulnerability in his voice sending shivers down her spine. But I need to know if what we share is real, if it is worth risking everything. Then let us find that out together, she whispered, her heart racing in anticipation. Before she could acknowledge the gravity of the moment, Alaric closed the distance, capturing her mouth with his. The kiss was electric, a surge of warmth that coursed through her body like wildfire. Every doubt, every fear melted away under the intensity of his touch. In that instant, nothing else existed, only the two of them, united against the world. But just as quickly, reality crashed back in. Alaric pulled away, his breath ragged and his eyes wide with shock. What have we done? He gasped, the weight of their actions dawning on him like a heavy shroud. What we've always wanted, she replied breathlessly, a mixture of exhilaration and dread swirling within her. But now we have to confront Selene. We can let fate dictate our happiness. Alaric's expression hardened, his alpha instincts kicking in. You don't understand. Selene won't take this lightly. If I confront her, it could lead to chaos within the pack. She'll see it as a betrayal. Then let it be chaos, Alara said, her voice firm. I'd rather face chaos than live a lie. You deserve to choose me, Alaric. You deserve to choose love. Do you really believe that? He asked, the flicker of hope in his eyes battling against the shadows of doubt. I do, she affirmed, her heart pounding with conviction. And I'll stand by you, no matter what happens. With their resolve solidified, they turned to leave the clearing, but the weight of their choices loomed heavy in the air. As they stepped back into the shadows of the forest, the dark tendrils of doubt crept in. Would Selene accept a challenge? Would their love survive the storm they were about to unleash? Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The moon hung high, casting a silvery glow over the pack's territory as they approached the den. Alara's heart raced, each beat echoing the uncertainty that clouded their path. Alaric walked beside her, his presence both a balm and a source of anxiety. Maybe we shouldn't do this, he murmured, his voice tinged with doubt as they neared the entrance. No, she said firmly, stopping to face him. We have to. We owe it to ourselves to fight for the love we've found. Steeling themselves, they pushed through the entrance to the den, the familiar sense mingling with tension. Selene stood at the center, her commanding presence filling the room like a storm about to break. The moment her gaze fell on them, her eyes narrowed, calculating. What is this? She asked sharply, her tone icy. What have you brought to my den, Alaric? Alara and I need to talk, he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil swirling beneath the surface. Talk, or is it more than that? Selene challenged, her eyes glinting with a dangerous spark. You've been meeting her in secret, haven't you? Alara felt the weight of Selene's accusation in the air, thick and suffocating. We need to be honest, Selene. Alaric and I share something profound, something that cannot be ignored. Profound? Selene laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. You think you can sway him with your words, with your petty feelings? Eddie. Alara bristled, each word cutting deep. What we have is real. You can claim ownership over someone's heart. Selene stepped closer, the possessiveness radiating from her like a dark shadow. You don't understand the bond that exists between mates doing nothing but a fleeting distraction, Alara. Maybe that distraction is what he truly needs. Alara shot back, her heart racing with defiance. You don't own him like a possession, you can dictate what he feels. Alaric stood between them, the tension mounting as he struggled to maintain control. Selene, it is not that simple. I never wanted to hurt you, but I can deny what I feel for Alara. For a moment, silence enveloped them, heavy with betrayal and unspoken truths. Then Selene's voice sliced through the tension, cold and cutting. You dare choose her over me, after everything we've built together? Built? Alara echoed, her anger rising. You've built a fide, Selene, a bond that suffocates him and pushes him away. The alpha female-less expression twisted with fury, and in that moment she lunged toward Alara, but Alaric intercepted her, his alpha power roaring to life. Enough, Selene, you will not harm her. What are you doing? Selene hissed, her eyes filled with rage. You turning your back on your future for a dream. That dream is the only truth I see, Alaric declared, his voice a low rumble. I'll not be chained to a bond that doesn't reflect my heart. The air crackled with tension as Selene's face contorted, a mixture of disbelief and fury washing over her. You'll regret this, Alaric. You'll lose everything. I'd rather lose everything than live a lie, he replied fiercely, his resolve hardening. The tension was palpable, like a storm ready to break. Alara felt the adrenaline coursing through the air, a fragile combination of fear and hope. In that heartbeat she recognized the magnitude of their defiance against fate. Alaric, Selene said, her tone shifting, a chilling calm washing over her fury. If you choose her, you are not just abandoning me, you are severing your ties with the pack, with everything you've ever known. Alara's heart sank at Selene's words. The weight of the pack's expectations loomed over them like a brooding storm cloud, threatening to rain chaos upon their newfound love. Are you really willing to risk it all? Selene continued, her voice laced with venom. For someone like her. Alara is not someone like her. She is my choice, and that choice means everything to me, Alaric asserted, his voice steady, yet a hint of desperation seeped through. I won't let fear dictate my heart any longer. Selene's eyes narrowed, the fierce glint of her wolf flaring beneath her skin. Then you've chosen poorly, Alpha. You think she can withstand the trials of this pack, the responsibilities, the burden? Alara felt a chill run through her, the truth of Selene's words stinging like frostbite. She wasn't just fighting for Alaric, she was stepping into a world of expectations she had never prepared to face. What I feel for Alaric transcends everything, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor of uncertainty. I might be an Omega, but my love is strong enough to weather any storm. A love doesn't shield you from the realities of our world, Selene countered, her voice rising again. You are naive, Alara. You think you can simply walk into our lives and take him from me without consequence. You really believe that? Alara shot back, her heart racing. You think you own him. Love isn't a possession, Selene. It is a bond meant to be cherished, not manipulated. The air crackled with tension, and Alaric placed a protective hand on Alara's shoulder, grounding her. Selene, it's time to acknowledge that the bond we share isn't just built on duty, but on what our hearts truly desire. Selene's expression faltered for just a moment, but her resolve quickly returned, hardened by pain and betrayal. You're a fool if you think this won't end badly. The moment you choose her, you'll awaken the wrath of the pack, and that wrath will be directed at both of you. Alara's heart raced at the chilling reality of Selene's words. I am not afraid, she declared, her voice steadier than her heart felt. I'll stand by Alaric no matter the consequences. Brave words for an Omega, Selene scoffed, a cruel smile twisting her lips. But bravery won't protect you from my fury. Enough. Alaric's voice boomed, his alpha presence enveloping the room like a thunderstorm. I will not allow you to threaten her, Selene. I choose my path, and I choose Alara. For a moment, the room fell silent, the tension palpable as the weight of Alaric's proclamation settled like a heavy cloak. Selene looked stunned, her expression wavering between disbelief and fury. "You really think this will end well for you, Alaric?" she asked, her voice slow and dangerous. "You will regret this decision." "What I will regret is living a lie," he replied, his tone unyielding. Before Selene could respond, Alara stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Selene, we don't want to hurt you, but continuing to deny our feelings is only going to lead to more pain. You deserve love as well. Even if it isn't with Alaric, we can find a way to coexist." Selene's laughter echoed through the den, dark and bitter. "You think this is about coexistence? Love, you naive Alara. You've stolen my future, and I want to let that go without a fight." "Then fight," Alaric said, his voice resolute. "But know that I want to back down. I care for Alara, and I refuse to let anyone, including you, dictate my heart." "Very well," Selene said, her chin lifting defiantly. "You've made your choice, Alaric, but I promise you the consequences will be severe." With that, Selene turned, her wolf instincts surging to the forefront as she stalked away, the tension in the room thickening. The weight of their choices hung heavily, and Alara felt a sudden rush of dread. "Will we really face that kind of chaos?" she whispered, turning to Alaric, her heart racing at the uncertainty. "Whatever comes, we'll face it together," he vowed, his emerald eyes burning with determination. "I want to lose you, Alara, not now, not ever." The warmth of his promise enveloped her, but the shadows of doubt loomed over them. "But this isn't just about us, it's about the pack, the responsibility you have. I don't want to be the reason for chaos within our lives." "Then let us show them that love can be a powerful force," Alaric replied, his voice steady. "It is time for the pack to understand that bonds are stronger than mere obligation." The days that followed were a whirlwind of tension and uncertainty. The pack sensed the shift in Alaric's demeanor, whispers of dissent trailing in his wake. As the nights turned darker, Alara felt the weight of their choices pressing down on her, threatening to crush her spirit. The sound of wolves howling at the moon filled the air, a reminder of the deep-rooted connections that bound them all together. Every howl felt like a warning, a cry for unity against the impending storm. One night, as Alara stood at the edge of the grove, she sensed Calder's presence beside her, the comfort of his familiar energy grounding her. "You were worried," he said softly, his brow furrowed in concern. "I don't want to be the cause of conflict within the pack," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I never wanted to come between Alaric and Selene." "You're not the cause of this, Selene is," he reminded her, his tone firm yet gentle. "You're simply living your truth. Love is meant to be fought for, Alara. You deserve happiness." "I know," but she trailed off, looking up at the stars that twinkled like distant dreams. "What if I become a target? What if the pack turns against me?" "Then I'll stand with you," he assured her, his resolve steady. "You're stronger than you think, Alara. You don't have to bear this burden alone." As his words wrapped around her, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "Thank you, Calder. Your support means everything." "Just promise me you'll be careful," he said, his expression softening. "You have a way of drawing in trouble." "I promise," she whispered, but deep down the uncertainty clawed at her. As the moon hung high, casting a silver glow over the grove, Alara steeled herself for what lay ahead. She and Alaric would face the storm together, but she knew the path wouldn't be easy. The pack was her family, but it was also the home of the betrayal that now loomed over them. The confrontation with Selene would come, and when it did, she had to be ready. One fateful evening, the call came. The pack gathered at the clearing beneath the moon, and Alara's heart thrummed with anticipation. Alaric stood at the front, his presence commanding respect and attention. He glanced toward her, determination flickering in his eyes. "We must confront the truth together," he began, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "Selene and I have made choices that lead to this moment, and I will not shy away from what those choices mean." Alara stepped forward, standing beside him, her heart pounding in her chest. "I will not back down either. Love is worth fighting for, and I refuse to be silenced any longer." The murmurs rippled through the pack, uncertainty hanging in the air. Alaric's gaze remained fixed on her, the bond they shared pulsing like a heartbeat. He turned toward the pack, the shadows of doubt lingering but not overpowering. "Tonight, we redefine what it means to be a pack," he declared, his voice ringing clear. "We are stronger together, but we must also honor our hearts." As the murmurs grew louder, the sound of approaching footsteps caught their attention. Selene emerged from the shadows, her presence commanding and fierce. The tension in the clearing escalated, the pack's uncertainty turning into outright fear. Alaric. Seleni's voice rang out, sharp and unyielding. UV brought chaos to our home, and I will not stand by and watch you destroy us. Alara's breath hitched, but Alaric remained steady. I am not here to destroy Selene. I am here to fight for what I believe in. Fight? She spat, her eyes blazing with fury. You think you can just walk away from the bond we share? The pack will not accept this. The tension in the air thickened.